Welcome back to E23, here with another edition of Pop Takes. We're your hosts, John Messer.
And Bryce Cross.
Today we're going to talk about probably the most polarizing movie of last year, Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
That's right, John. Reviews and opinions of this movie have been all over the place, haven't they? Ranging from 9 and 10s out of 10s to like 2 out of 10s. I've had people come up to me and tell me how disappointed they were with the movie, and my own roommate even called it trash.
That's a little extreme.
Right? I know there were a couple of problems with the movie, but overall it was a great movie, right?
Right.
Okay. So what, you didn't like the? Wait. Okay. Hold on. So we're gonna dive into spoilers if we're gonna get into this. So first of all, what didn't you like?
Well, first I want to say I didn't hate it, because that's what I said. I don't think it's trash.
Okay.
But a lot of people were walking out of theaters. You see those videos of people saying that they cried, they cried from start to finish, or the videos of people that say that they hated it. You've seen all those articles titled "It Ruined Star Wars." So I'm not there. I am at a somewhat firm 5 out of 10 on it.
5 out of 10. So okay, so I'm at around an 8 out of 10. I thought it was better than most people said it was, just because it subverted my expectations. I came into the movie and I was sort of I had like my own expectations for it. I thought that Rey was going to be a Skywalker. I thought that Snoke was going to be this grand villain, and those were just dashed. So I liked how it kind of, I guess, surprised me in the end. I liked how Luke was sort of grizzled. I mean, I didn't like how he did the little milk scene where he like just kind of chugs the green milk and then like kind of does that weird ugly grin at the camera.
He almost looks directly at the audience and is like, I bet you're grossed out, aren't you?
Yeah. What else? I thought the space battles were amazing.
They're well shot, I agree.
The opening in the beginning I thought was just great, with Poe kind of just taking on the First Order by himself.
On that, if I may.
Yeah, go.
On that point, talking about the opening is a pretty good, accurate way to, I think it reflects my feelings of the entire movie, because the opening is beautifully shot. You get this amazing space scene, amazing practical special effects and everything, and all the ships and the setup, and you get this very exciting opening to the movie of the escape, is reminiscent of Hoth.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Then there's the scene where he radios the bridge, and he starts asking for the guy, and it gets jokey like right away, and he's
the kind of Guardian of the Galaxy-esque jokes.
That's accurate. Yeah, he immediately he actually makes an actual like mama joke, and that kind of scared me, because it made me think that the whole movie was going to be this like never-ending like quip fest, and it wasn't. But there were a lot of scenes like that throughout the whole movie where it became funny, and in my mind, if we go into the assumption that the best Star Wars movies are still the original 3, they weren't comedy movies.
True.
They had the moments of comedy, mostly from like C-3PO, but they were levity in an otherwise lighthearted but serious sort of adventure story.
Right. There were never any overt jokes.
And that's what draws you in, because it's sincere, you know. And that was probably my biggest issue with this movie, is so much of it didn't feel sincere. So much of it felt like, oh, we're doing this decision just because the audience thinks we're going to do something else. Okay. So we're just doing like the opposite of that. And it's a little bit shocking, but there's not much substance.
Okay. I thought it was sort of sincere. I'm going to disagree on that just because I felt like Rian Johnson, the director, kind of had like his own vision that he wanted to capture and showcase. And I thought that was very sincere, even though it didn't kind of line up with what we thought was going to happen from The Force Awakens. I liked how we thought that Rey was going to be of some sort of lineage, either like from Obi-Wan's family or the Skywalkers, and she just ends up being a nobody. It kind of shows that a hero can come from nowhere. And then I kind of like how, I know a lot of people got mad about this, but about how Snoke was just kind of killed off. Just because if we would have had Snoke, it would have just been a retread of the Empire, or not the Empire Strikes Back, the Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, yeah.
Because they were even kind of in a room where he was on the throne.
Red guards and everything.
Exactly. So I was just like, when I first saw it, I was like, what? No, why? Like, I was so hyped to see Snoke to be this grand villain, but
Yeah.
I kind of like how they
I
subvert it.
liked that. I liked that they killed him. I wish it wasn't telegraphed as much.
Yeah,
I wish
it would have just happened.
I wish
instead
it
of
happened really fast.
showing the lightsaber kind of rotating.
Because he gets that whole speech and he starts going on and on. He's got his eyes closed literally, and he's like, kill the one you hate. Again, it feels like he's talking to the audience, and he's like, I bet you think what he's gonna do. I bet you're not gonna see this coming. And then like he almost knows he's about to die.
Right.
And then it happens. So I like that he died. I just don't. I wish it didn't. I wish it happened fast. Yeah.
Okay. What did you think about Yoda coming back into the movie?
It was neat that he was voiced by Frank Oz, and it was neat that it was an actual puppet. I am immediately curious of how much power Force ghosts have, because he summoned lightning, and
arguably stronger than like when they were alive.
Yeah.
So they can just burn trees at will.
They're not there for advice. They can actually do stuff.
Yeah.
There was a thing. The thing about Yoda is in his first appearance, he's like that goofy jerk, and he steals like R2-D2's hot dog and stuff, and he's like messing with Luke the whole time. And then the moment Luke realizes he's a Jedi Master, he like flips, and he's suddenly like really stoic and wise, and it really hits the audience hard.
Okay.
And this isn't like a huge problem with the movie. I would never list this in an actual review as like a list of cons, but like it did kind of bug me that his ghost was sort of back to being a goofy jerk, and like he wasn't wise. Like he shows up and he's like messing with Luke, and he's like giggling, like he's doing his funny giggle.
I think it was just to show. I mean, he kind of died sort of that way. So I mean, granted, he left out of the world as giving like wise adages, but in the end of his life, he was just pretty much sort of the goofy kind of Yoda. So I felt like it was more in line.
I was fine with it. It just, I don't know, it ticked something off in my brain.
True. Yeah. One thing I really want to cover though is what did you think of the casino planet, Canto Bight?
That might be my biggest like structure gripe with the movie is I didn't enjoy Rose. I didn't like Rose. I didn't like the casino scene. But let's wrap up, and I will start by saying something that I actually really did like. I vastly thought that Kylo Ren was improved in this movie over the character portrayed in Episode 7. I very much liked.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
How he was done.
Yeah, honestly, I'll agree with that because he was just sort of whiny, and he had a lot of character development, growing into his own, becoming the leader of the First Order in this movie. So
I think he's the most interesting character in the newest movie.
I don't know about that. I mean, Finn and Rey are both my guys. They're up there. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, but Kylo is interesting. I think it definitely is a villain.
It's definitely not a bad movie.
Yeah, no. I give it like an 8 out of 10, and that's seen it twice. So it's got some flaws, but overall, I really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I definitely get why this movie is so divisive. Everyone's got their own little things about Star Wars that they love and hate, and we'll see you on the next episode of E23.
This has been John Messer and Bryce Cross. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to check out more content at mutv.missouri.edu.